No, that is way too peppy for this morning.
It didn't switch over to us automatically. So sorry, restarted the countdown. But anyway, good morning and happy worst day on the internet.
Yeah, totally forgot that that was today until a little bit ago. And I was like, oh,
Did somebody get you?
no, no, but Tyler mentioned it. So
Yeah.
it makes me nervous for the whole day.
If any of you ask us if something is true because you saw an April Fool's Day, you're
Mhm.
going to get a wedgie.
Are, are we 12-year-old boys?
We are.
Okay.
I think people that do April Fool's Day pranks are also 12-year-old boys.
Hmm.
So don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I have to do my traditional texting Brent, my husband, that I am pregnant. I have had a hysterectomy and I am 50 years old, but miracles can
No,
happen.
no.
Hmm.
I was going to say today is April Fool's Day, or if you're Mousetrap News, Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They just make stuff up every day for no reason.
For fun, for chaos.
Yeah. And then people are in my DMs. Is this true? Is this true? Is this true?
No.
No. Consider the source.
Consider the source.
Please consider the source. Anyway, we are here on this fateful Wednesday, April 1st. We do have news to talk about, a little bit of news, and then we have lots and lots of questions that were from the Q&A submitted on yesterday on Instagram. And then if there are comments, questions, etc., then we will include them either throughout or at the end. Depends on if we see them or not.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for the news, Heather Thomas?
I am ready for the news.
All right, what is first?
Okay, first, Disney dropped some ticket news this morning on April Fool's Day, which is kind of wild of them to do that. But they are offering a after 2 p.m. summer ticket.
Okay.
So this ticket is good for 2 or 3 days. It's valid May 26th through July 29th. No.
Oh, early summer only.
Yep. No park reservations required. If you get the 2-day ticket, you have 4 days to use it. If you get the 3-day, you have 5. Ticket prices range from $116 to about $135 per day, but over like the busy holiday, like July 4th, it does go up a little bit, all the way up to about $158. The restrictions, though, are the important things. You can't enter until after 2 p.m. only. So even if you're staying on site, you can't do like early entry. If you make lightning lane or dining reservations, you can't make those before 2 o'clock, obviously, because you can't be in the park. They are non-refundable, non-transferable, which is a standard ticket thing for Disney. And there is, I think we need to have a bigger discussion maybe on the value of this ticket.
We should. I just was remembering while you were talking, though, that do you remember when they first introduced dynamic ticket pricing and the summers were one of the most expensive times to go? Isn't that interesting?
Yes, very interesting. So right now, if you're keeping track of the ticket deals, you have 3 different options for tickets for the majority of the summertime. You have this new ticket offer that they just dropped. You have the 4-day magic or whatever it's called ticket where you can do 1 day in each of the 4 parks, and then you have just a standard ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So took a look at just one random date in the summer, pulled June 15th information just to kind of see how the cost comparisons are, and then to kind of see what your cost per hour is, because I think that's where something that's important to take a look at too.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out if our faces are on top of the information.
I think they are.
So, but then when I switch it, it kind of makes it smaller. So that's right now, that's your choices.
Okay, so let me put on my glasses. I don't like to wear them when we're recording because I don't like the reflection of the light in them. But if you're looking at the chart, I can go ahead and read it off. So on the left hand chart where it's the teal and the orange, that first one is your standard 4-day ticket. It is going to be your most expensive ticket. And then all the way on the right is your after 2-day ticket. So from these ticket offers, a 4-day ticket, just standard compared to a 2-day after 2 or the after 2 p.m. 2-day ticket, of course, is there's going to be a huge discrepancy. But then if you compare side by side, if you look at the standard 4-day next to the one right next to it, that 4-day, the 4 park magic ticket, those are both 4-day tickets. Your 4 park magic ticket is significantly less expensive. Now, you don't have the same flexibility as you do with the standard 4-day, meaning you can't um, pick which parks you're going to go to. You can't go all 4 days to Magic Kingdom, for example. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're already planning to do all 4 parks, you can save a significant chunk of change. That to me makes it a really good value. And if I was doing a 4-day trip, I definitely think that ticket is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more dicey is when you look at like a standard 2-day ticket, comparing that to the after 2 p.m. ticket, or a standard 3-day ticket, comparing that to the after 2 p.m. 3-day ticket. There's so many numbers in this. Um, the price difference between those isn't isn't insignificant. But when you look on the chart on the right-hand side where you start to
Mm-hmm.
look at the price per hour, I think that's where things kind of make a little bit more sense. So on a standard 2-day ticket, your price per hour on, again, just looking at June 15th, is $13.46 per hour.
Mm-hmm.
But with the after 2, you're looking at $16.82. So because you're getting fewer hours in the park, of course, your price per hour is going up. You're spending less off the top, but you're each hour
Yeah.
more.
What really stands out on this chart is what a great value the 4 park magic ticket is.
It is, yes, I think that is the absolute best option if you're doing a 4-day trip.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I mean, yeah, it's going to cost you $487 according to
Mhm.
this. But that's, per day, it's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad. So with this in mind, I think the people that this is good for are people who aren't going to get to the parks early anyway. If you're
Mhm.
only doing a short trip and you are not the kind who want to rope drop, you have no interest in doing early entry, you typically show up to the parks, you know, late morning or even noon. If you can hold off and go at 2 o'clock and close down the park, this new ticket offer is probably a good deal. If you're the type of person though who likes to squeeze every little minute out of your day, if you're a rope dropper, if you want to avoid the hottest part of the day by going early in the morning, um, this is not going to be the best deal for
Yeah.
you.
Okay, good math. So, but here, can I tell you something that is very upsetting to me? Is that
Yes.
with this math in mind,
Mhm.
I'm imagining the Disney executive sitting in a room crunching numbers
Mhm.
and being like, you know what we can offer is this ticket where it seems like it's less expensive, but when we start doing the math, it actually makes us more per hour.
Yes, yes, and we know that this is something that people have asked about before. We get these questions on a regular basis, not all the time, but we do regularly get questions about, is there a ticket for, like a half day? Is it less expensive if you're just going to go for a half day? And up until this point, aside from some instances maybe with conferences, you couldn't get a ticket that was less expensive because you were intentionally planning to spend less time in the park. It was like it doesn't matter if you show up at 6 p.m. or at 6 a.m., you were paying the same price. So I think Disney probably knew that too. And they probably
Mm-hmm.
had the same kind of questions and they realized this might be an opportunity for them to offer something like this. I will be curious to see if they figure out a way to extend it into other times of the year, or if this is just another way to try to boost the kind of slumpy summertime
Mm-hmm.
numbers that we've seen over the past several years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Good analysis. Always recommend doing something like this when you see a promo come out. Like, what's the better deal?
Mhm.
Let's break it down.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just you just have to do the math, which darn it.
Darn it.
Yeah,
Heather loves math.
I don't like math. It's not my favorite, but for this, it made sense. And then some other news that was kind of W It's the I think the headline sounds scary, but it's not as scary as it sounds, and that was some, more information on what Disney is doing with DVC rentals.
Yeah, so for anybody watching that isn't familiar, Disney's version of a timeshare is called DVC, Disney Vacation Club, and it's a point-based system and people buy into it. But if they're not going to use their points, they can rent them out to people like you and me
Mhm.
at a certain rate. Usually it's a pretty good deal for those of us that rent, and that lets you stay at deluxe resorts and pay less than if you were booking right through Disney. But the rules are changing for the DVC owners and specifically around renting.
Yes, and I don't know it's so much that the rules are changing as that the rules are being enforced and that Disney is putting some teeth into the contracts that people have signed, which state explicitly that you are not supposed to use these for commercial use.
They're cracking down.
They are cracking down. It is I think Disney understands that it's totally normal if you purchase one of these contracts that over the lifespan of that contract, there will be times when you're gonna be unable to use your points, and it makes sense then to allow people who purchase them to know that they won't just that's just not sunken money for that year or those years when they aren't able to use them. But what's happened in the past, I don't know, how 5 years, 10 years, is that you have, individuals or even corporations who have scooped up and purchased a lot of points with the sole purpose of renting them out, and that is explicitly against the contracts with DVC. These are supposed to be for personal use. They're supposed to be for occasionally renting them or to gift them to people. You're not supposed to be operating a business that is generating money by renting out points.
Hmm. So, if you are a potential DVC renter,
Mhm.
what to think about in light of this?
Um, I would stick again to using reputable sources. Um, Disney has said that the policy isn't just on the intent of it, but it's also on patterns. And I would think that those reputable sources, like I think DVC rentals is a big one, that they are going to help be that buffer for that to prevent these kinds of things from happening. They continue to allow occasional rentals and being able to like gift things, schedule changes, those are all okay. But the Disney will be looking for those repeated rental patterns and business style activity, people who are advertising, like if it's a solo person and not an overall company who is acting as that middleman or a broker. Um, I would not rent from somebody like that. If you see, those ads on Facebook, you don't want to rent from somebody like that because they are not compiling all these other individual people into a bank of points that they can help people rent out. They are using their own, and Disney knows that. And that's the ones that are going to have a higher likelihood of being canceled. And you could show up for a trip and find out that your resort stay is no longer valid.
Hmm. Y'all stay safe out there.
Yeah, stay safe. Just be smart. Be smart. If it's too good of a deal, it's probably too good of a deal. It's not real, and stick with those reputable sources, and you'll probably have a much bigger buffer from ending up on the wrong side of this.
Okay, is that it for news?
Yeah, I think that's enough. That's it for today.
Okay, ready? Time to stretch.
I need to stretch my brain. How do you do that?
It's time to answer questions, but normally we warm up with miscellaneous questions, and today we don't have any. Everyone fits into a category neatly.
Yes.
So we're going to dive into some general Disney World questions. Are you ready?
Sure. Fun.
All right. The longest snare in the world.
That was pretty impressive.
Okay. First question. Stepson in Florida has a pass. Pros and cons of using it versus getting him a ticket on our vacation package. I wouldn't get another ticket.
No, I think the things to think about though is if he's on your reservation, everybody in the same reservation, if you're doing a package like with a dining plan, everybody needs to have the same ticket. or the
You can
same components.
you can often add people as day pass guests though,
Mhm.
and then they are exempt from the package rules.
Yes, but you don't do that ahead of time, right?
No, you don't do that ahead of time. No.
You do that when you get there. So
No, but it would make me nauseous to buy another ticket when when someone already has one because they're not cheap.
yeah. And also too, make sure that he's not blocked out on any of the dates you want to visit the park.
Yeah.
That would be the other thing.
Yes. A new DVC member, Top of the World Lounge and at Villain's Lair. Easy to get in without reservations. We're not DVC owners, but we have been to the DVC lounges, including this one, which I really loved.
Yes.
We rope dropped it.
We did rope drop it, and because of that, we were able to go in without a reservation, but we weren't able to stay very long because we didn't have a reservation. So I would, if you aren't able to get a reservation, I would do the same thing, rope drop, but also be prepared to not be able to hang out maybe as long as you would like.
Okay. Any intel if they'll release 2027 bookings in April? We don't have intel, but we have a good guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they released it last year.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it's April now.
Mm-hmm. This month.
This
It's April
month.
Fool's Day.
Ah!
Be crazy if April Fool's Day took place in March. And it's almost Easter too.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do think it's going to come out in April, but we don't have any specific intel that would tip us off. We're just basing on history.
Yep.
Doing a tier 1 challenge, riding all tier 1s in a day. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the parks have tiers, so are they not going Animal Kingdom, you think?
Well, I mean, you can make assumptions on what's a tier 1 there.
Strategies. Assuming Big Thunder and Rock and Roller Coaster will be open. Well, buy the single pass.
Yes, and the multi-pass.
Well, yes, for sure. By all the lightning lanes. Yeah, if Animal Kingdom's included, I think I would buy a single pass at Flight of Passage and then book my multi-pass lightning lane somewhere else.
Agreed.
I don't know.
And you can only buy 2 single passes.
You can only buy 2. You need to be aware of what single rider options are available
Mm-hmm.
because like Test Track has it, Rock and Roller Coaster has it. I mean, multiple rides have it. So Remy's has it. I don't know.
Even Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of Resistance has it. Yeah, lots of single riders. So I would do that. I think you're going to have to rope drop something. You're going to have to book 2 single pass lightning lanes that are tier 1s, or I guess they're not tiers if they're single pass. That's the thing. If they're single pass, they're not technically tier 1s
No.
because they're totally separate. I'm just thinking of headliners.
Yes, me too. I was doing the same thing. So if you're doing just tier 1,
Yeah.
again,
Then
multi-pass.
You definitely lightning lanes, like
Uh-huh.
whatever. And then rope dropping something and then taking advantage of the single rider lines, which many of them offer it.
Yes, and I would also make that very first lightning lane of the day as early as you can to kind of maximize your chances to get another tier 1 and then use like Standby Skipper to help you
Yes.
grab the other ones.
Have you ever flown into Tampa instead of MCO for a Disney trip?
I have a couple times. Very easy airport to navigate. The drive is not bad. Would do it again. I've also flown into Jacksonville, which was more of a drive, but we were trying to trick the kids. We didn't want them to know we were going to Disney World. So
So you flew into a different airport.
we told them that their dad had a conference in Jacksonville and we were all going to Jacksonville and that they were going to get to go swimming in the hotel pool.
Wow. And
And then we drove to Disney World.
that's hilarious. I did not know that. But yeah, I think it's good to price out different airports. I flew into Fort Lauderdale and took a rental car up the coast, and different options like that. So I definitely look at different airports. It's pricey out there.
Yes, and also make sure you factor in your rental car prices because you'll have to pay for something to get, from Tampa or wherever you fly, and make sure you're comparing apples to apples there.
Yes. Do the water parks get really crowded thinking Memorial Day week?
They definitely get more crowded in the summer than they do other times of the year, and for locals, holidays can make the water parks a little bit busier too.
Back when both water parks were open most of the time, we used to give advice to arrive midday because a lot of people will leave in the mid-afternoon, especially if there's an afternoon rain.
Mhm.
For some reason, it clears people out, which cracks me up. It's like you're already wet.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand not wanting to be out there in the lightning, but like if it's just rain, no big deal. But a lot of people will leave, and then that's a great chance to be in the parks. So
Mhm.
sometimes I think arriving midday
Yes.
is a good option. My Disney World trip starts Sunday, and I pulled my hamstring last Sunday. Any advice for
Oh.
scooters?
I would rent one from like a vendor and like have it delivered to your resort. That way you have it for the entire trip and not just when you're in the parks because you're not guaranteed even to have one in the parks, especially if you show up late. They do run out of them. So I would make
Yeah.
sure to guarantee that you have one for your entire trip every time you need it. I would rent one and have it delivered.
Yeah, I think for anybody that needs a scooter, even at the hotel or,
Mhm.
whatever, getting one from a third party vendor so you can have it the whole time is nice. If you just occasionally need it, like I just did the interview
Mhm.
with Blair Lamb, and she rented a scooter in the parks because she is pregnant and sometimes she needs it, but not always.
Mhm.
So if it's temporary just to get across the park, then the park ones is probably fine. But if you need it for the hamstring,
Mhm.
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Any last minute spring deals?
Yes, and in fact, I don't know if you just saw it, Shannon, but there was another deal that just dropped. Let me see if I can scan it real quick. Um,
Uh,
Disney Plus subscribers, new limited time offer and lineup of fresh experiences for families with young kids. Special rates on Disney Resorts Collection hotels for Disney Plus subscribers. So
what are the dates?
these dates are bookable beginning tomorrow. Travel dates June 21st through August 15th.
Okay, so that's summer. But
Oh, there
yeah,
we go,
so
spring.
yeah, so that's interesting. That's still pretty interesting. But that's summer. I wouldn't
Mhm.
expect any last minute spring deals. No, it's
No,
extremely busy at Disney World right now. They don't need to offer anything.
no.
And as of next month, it will be summer. What will be available in the parks once Cool Kids Summer starts on May 26th? Each park has characters during early entry.
Uh-huh.
There's a dance party that's Toy Story themed at Magic Kingdom. I'm just literally going off the top of my head.
Uh-huh.
At Hollywood Studios, they're starting the new Disney Junior show as part of
Mhm.
Cool Kid Summer, but that will last after Cool Kid Summer. Animal Kingdom is when they start the Bluey and Bingo character
Mhm.
meet. What's it at Epcot?
Goofy Core at Communicore Hall, his thing
So
there.
okay, so yeah, that's like a dance party fun
Mhm.
time. We happened upon it last summer when we were there. So each park has a little bit of something.
Yeah, and then some of the resorts will have special things as well. They'll have, um, and it's like Pop Century. I
Art
can't
of
remember.
Animation. I thought it was Caribbean Beach. I don't know.
I
There's a
I think you're right. I think it is Caribbean Beach, but they will have extra characters and some extra activities and things available at the resorts. The other resorts will just have their standard ones, but that is about it, I think.
rope drop, leave early, sleep in, stay till park close. I think this is a choice. Do we rope drop and leave early, or sleep in and stay till park close for hitting the rides? Well, we are rope drop people,
Mhm.
but to be honest, the rope drop strategy can also be applied to late night. It just varies a lot in its success
Yeah.
because if a park closes at 9, it's not staying until closing isn't as effective as if a park closes at 11. And the reason is that fewer people are willing to stay open up late.
Yes. And then also, if you do start in the morning and an attraction's down and you don't get to do it, you have a lot more chances to be able to accomplish what you set out to do versus if you do the reverse. You once the park closes, then it's closed and you're out of chances. So it just kind of depends on, like Shannon said, the when it closes and your how important it is to get something done.
Best rope drop strategy for Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then or do they mean Animal Kingdom? They mean Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
Then hopping to Epcot with Lightning Lane Multipass. I've never ridden Flight of Passage. Okay, so I would book that as a single pass Lightning Lane,
Mhm.
and we have done the Animal Kingdom to Epcot thing a lot. I feel like this combo comes up a lot in questions too. And I will say when we did it, we definitely booked multi-pass lightnings at Animal Kingdom. And then as soon as we tapped in, we started booking them for Epcot. And we had like 3 tier ones, I think, booked for our hop. But now for Animal Kingdom, I think it would be fair to debate if that's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might want to do your multi-pass lightning lane bookings at Epcot and then just do Flight of Passage Animal Kingdom as a single pass. But if you do book them in Animal Kingdom, then just as soon as you tap in, you start booking at Epcot. I feel like there's pros and cons to this. Because if you pre-book them all at Animal Kingdom, then once you tap in, you can start booking multiple tier ones at Epcot versus if you pre-book Epcot, you can't book multiple tier ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I again, I think it depends on when you're going and how busy it is. I don't think I don't think that either way is a bad option. Because
Yeah.
also once you use that first one, like you said, you can start booking the tier one. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe I'd book at Animal Kingdom, tap in real fast, and start trying to grab over at Epcot.
And book a single pass for Flight of Passage and for Guardians because they don't have to be in the same park, the single passes. Either way, I think totally works. Okay. I saved this one for today specifically for you. How does using Apple Watch as a Magic Band work? Does it drain the battery?
It does not drain the battery any more than any of the other apps that you use on your phone. It's only activated when you are tapping it. It's just like using your Apple Pay or your Apple Wallet. It's the same thing. So it just happens automatically. You don't have to actually open anything up. It just knows when you're there. So as long as your battery's not like on its last leg, you'll be fine. It's never drained mine.
I love that this person said parent swap. We're swapping parents. Kids get to ride.
You get to get new ones, yeah.
They mean Rider Switch, but is Rider Switch open for early entry? Lighting lanes are not. And I don't, it's not available because it requires the use of the lightning lane. And their lightning lane is not open during early entry.
But you can use like your DAS pass during early entry, and that uses the lightning lane.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was available until regular park opening. But if anybody knows any firsthand experience with this,
Yeah.
let us know.
Or if we can borrow somebody's kid and test it out.
Yeah, with stuff with little kids is hard for us because we can't test that. If you take a minivan to early entry, how much beforehand should you take it? Well, availability is limited, and a lot of people will be booking. I would just take it as soon as possible.
Yes, agreed. Because it'll look like there's a whole bunch available, and then within a few minutes they'll all be gone because everybody is trying to head to the park at the same time. So, one thing you can do is you can start watching the availability before the day before you need it, or in the days before you need it, so you can kind of see what that looks like, and then act accordingly when you actually do need it.
It starts operating at 6:30 a.m. So you can do that. That's the earliest time. Okay, we're going away from general questions and we're going over to picking dates, which has become a category because so many people ask about it. Overall, any tips for Memorial Week? I already looked at the crowd calendar for then. Memorial Day week. Okay, so we'll be there. So tip number 1, look for us so we can say hi. I don't think, I mean, if you looked at the crowd calendar, we think it's going to be like moderate or moderately busy. But what I think is important to note is all the stuff opening. All the stuff opening is going to be interesting because those things are going to attract a lot of people wanting to try them for the first time.
Yes. And I would say things that are probably going to be busier than others are going to be Bluey. Like the things that are permanent installations are going to be more busy than just the limited time cool kid summer stuff. So the Blueys and Bingo stuff, they are going to be hugely popular. And then also the new show over at Hollywood Studios will likely be popular for a while. I do think the show, that popularity will kind of go back to how it typically is, which is, a fairly popular thing, but people aren't going to necessarily be rope dropping the very first show a month out. But I do think that Bluey and Bingo will remain popular for quite a while.
Yeah, but you should be okay.
Yeah.
How bad are early mid-June crowds compared to spring break crowds. Not as nearly as bad.
Mm-mm.
This category of questions, the picking dates, a lot of the answers are in, hey, let's look at the crowd calendar. So spring break, you'll see we've got orange and red mostly right here, or completely orange and red. But when we skip to June, we drop down to yellow.
Mhm.
So it'll be less busy.
Yes, and you know that it's less busy. Busy.
Disney is cute.
Thank you. I invented that one myself. You'll know it's less busy because Disney just keeps dropping promos and specials for that time of year, like the new ticket deal. They don't do that when it's super busy.
They don't offer promos to be nice.
Mm-mm.
When's the best time to do land and sea for Disney World? April or May? They're pretty similar.
Yeah, I would just avoid anytime around Easter if you're looking at April dates. I'm not sure when Easter is in 2027. I can't remember, but avoid that, and I think they're both be good.
Are spring break crowds bigger than in past years? It does feel that way. It does feel that way. And I think one of the biggest pieces of evidence, other than just our anecdotal observations of, reports from the crowds, is that the MCO airport said it's the busiest spring break. So it is busy. Is Halloween Day super busy? Not particularly.
Mm.
The Halloween party will be sold out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's sort of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to hop over to Magic Kingdom and do Magic Kingdom related questions. All right. Planning to rope drop Magic Kingdom for 7:30 a.m. next Thursday. Which rides are open for rope drop that early? Do you think this person's doing early entry?
I think so.
I assume so, because most all the rides are open after that. So this is an easily Googleable question because Disney provides lists, and so do we. And basically, what you need to know is that it's only Tomorrowland and Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom, and it's not 100% of the rides in there, but it's almost all. So those are the two lands. We generally recommend going to Fantasyland just because it gets busiest the fastest. And my personal preference is to go to Peter Pan's Flight and Winnie the Pooh during early entry, and then having a Lightning Lane booked for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yes, I agree with all of that. I was just double checking the hours to make sure. And yes, that is early entry for that day.
Tips for first time Halloween party goer with kids. First of all, I hope your kids will stay up late enough, because every time we go to the Halloween party, I feel like we cringe at all the families leaving because we know how expensive the tickets are. So I would
Leaving early.
They leave early. Yes. And usually a lot of times they will leave like 9:30, and it's like, no, we're here for a few more hours. So there's that. But I think for anybody, you need to just identify what your focus is.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the characters? Because that requires a whole strategy in itself. When we go to the Halloween parties to do gather information for work, it's the characters that we spend the most time on.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the parades and fireworks?
Is it trick or treating?
Is it trick or treating?
Is it the entertainment, other entertainment things? I definitely identify what you want. Know that you can't do it all. Maybe pick, have everybody pick their top must do, and then anything else beyond that is a bonus. And I think you'll feel like you had a successful time.
Yeah, but we will have information, as it's available to offer you too. With Big Thunder opening in May, what would be your rope drop strategy? Well, Big Thunder won't be open during early entry.
Mm-mm.
Because that land is not open during early entry.
No, but I would definitely stage myself if you are doing it without multipass, because that would probably be my first pick. Excuse me, is to use multipass. But if you're not doing it with multipass, I would stage myself so that before early entry is ending, I was over by the Tangled Bathrooms and ready to head there right when the official park opening happens.
Yeah, it's what we often call a second rope drop, because you've got early entry rope drop, and then you've got the regular park opening where the whole rest of the park opens up and the offsite guests can come in. And so this feels like a good second rope drop.
Yes, agreed.
Have tickets for Magic Kingdom late night on April 13th. Do you think there will be a second parade?
There's not one as of right now, and that's kind of past this busy Easter spring break time, so I don't necessarily think they're going to add one. I think it's going to be the one.
Last Magic Kingdom question. Early entry strategy for Magic Kingdom after Buzz Lightyear opens. I still think Fantasyland is more important, and then maybe you head over to Tomorrowland afterwards. Tomorrowland just doesn't get busy as fast.
No, unless you have 2 days and like at Magic Kingdom and
Yes.
you're doing 2 early entries at Magic Kingdom, I would focus one day in Fantasyland and then the other one in Tomorrowland.
Mhm.
And I think either way, I think Buzz would be a great like second ride option if it's important to you and you're not going to use a multi-pass or something on it.
Let's hop to Epcot. Staying at All Star Sports, worth it to take a minivan to the International Gateway at Rope Drop. Focus is Remy's and the World Showcase. Not a bad strategy. Minivans will allow you to be dropped off at the beach club, even without a reservation, and then you can walk to the International Gateway.
But I would also do the math. I don't know how big your party is. Is it less expensive to get multi-pass for your group or to take or like especially if you're solo, it might be less expensive just to get multi-pass. But do the math and see which makes more sense.
Best strategy to get Test Track, Frozen, and Remy's. Main entrance using early entry and Lightning Lane single pass. Okay, so main entrance. All right, so book a Lightning Lane for Remy's. And then if you're booking Guardians, you could skip it at Rope Drop and then just head right to Test Track and Frozen. And then you can use your Lightning Lane for Remy's later and Guardians. If you want to ride Guardians twice, you could Rope Drop it, then go to Test Track and Frozen, and then go back and re-ride Guardians later.
Yeah, and which order you do between Test Track and Frozen kind of would depend on what your next stop is during the morning. If you're planning on like just heading into the World Showcase, even though lots of things aren't open, then I would go ahead and do Test Track first and then Frozen, or you could reverse it if you're doing Guardians shortly after. I would just kind of play that by wherever your next stop is, use that to drive what your decision is between rope dropping Test Track and Frozen. And don't forget that Test Track also has a single rider line.
Especially early in the day.
Super efficient.
Nobody in it. Which is why I kind of like it earlier, because before that single rider line builds. Okay, will the Easter themed scavenger hunt still be at Flower and Garden after this weekend?
Probably not. They usually start pulling it relatively shortly after Easter. So, and it's also one of those like as supplies last things. So don't look for it to be around for too much longer. Don't count on it. If it's there, yay. If it's not a surprise.
We have one question at Hollywood Studios. Will a Tatooine Trader's lightsaber fit in a backpack? How big is it?
If it's one of the telescoping ones, then yes.
Okay. And I think they are. Aren't they all? Okay. All right. So let's skip to the resort questions. What are the best rooms at Caribbean Beach? Best rooms for what? Best rooms for what? So this is such a popular question that I actually wrote a whole article about it. But basically, you have to figure out what you want to be closest to. The main building, which also has the main pool and, most dining options. Do you want to be near the Skyliner hub? Do you want to be near Riviera, which also has a Skyliner station, but also it has its great food options that you might want access to? And then I would request based on that.
Yeah. There's not really one universally amazing room choice at Caribbean Beach that gets you close to everything. You got to make some decisions.
And they've made it more confusing because like fifth sleeper rooms are not a category you can book now. So you have to figure out where those are located. It's a whole thing. But Caribbean Beach is the trickiest, I think, for this. A split stay. Will Bell Services bring luggage to your room at your second resort? They will definitely transfer your luggage. And I I have had it both ways where they delivered it to Bell Services at the second hotel and then you had to call and get it delivered. And I've also had it where it just appeared in the room.
Yeah.
But either way, they do transfer it.
Yes, and I mean, I guess technically they will bring it to your room. It just depends on whether or not you have to call them or not. Like if it's
Yes.
automatic.
But it will end up there and they will do it.
hmm
Have 4 people, but want a 5th pull down. How likely will Caribbean Beach, Port Orleans Riverside? Caribbean Beach or Port Orleans Riverside take my request. Should I do deluxe with 5th sleeper? Any recommendation for these or the 5th sleeper moderates? So I actually posted a short video yesterday, like a real TikTok thing. And it was just about this. Because if you have a booking and you only have 4 people and you don't have a package, like it's just a room only, you can add a phantom 5th person, which is something we've done because if you need that extra bed, that's a way to guarantee it.
Yeah, just make sure it's a child, or else you could get charged an extra adult fee.
The 5th person has to be a child, a phantom child. That way you can get the beds. I hate having to do these workarounds, but if you need the extra bed, this is a way to do it. Booking a deluxe hotel that you know is going to have it is a way to guarantee it, though.
And your only option probably to guarantee it if you're doing a package. Like
Yes, if you're doing a package, absolutely do deluxe. And not all of them have it, but most of them do. And those beds are more like twin size, whereas the moderates are smaller.
Yeah.
Like they're only as big as like a 10-year-old child.
Yeah, they're like a cot size.
Yeah, they're smaller than twin. So dining, party of 14. What's our best bet for dining reservation? 7 and 7, 5, 5, 4. Depends on the restaurant. I've gone online just to play around with dining reservations, and if you pick a restaurant and then pick the number, a lot of times it will tell you what the maximum number is at that particular restaurant. So I would look at your list of restaurants, go online and kind of practice and see what the maximum is, and that'll tell you. So if it lets you do 7, then okay, 7 and 7 makes sense. But if it caps out at 6, then you're going to have to break it up into smaller pieces. Best quick service in the monorail resorts. We tend to like Captain Cook's at the Polynesian. But we did have a live video from last week where we did our favorite quick service table service in the parks, resorts, and Disney Springs. Possibility of getting walk up for California Grill Lounge for 2 in mid-May. I mean,
your chances will be greater the earlier you go or the more off times you go. Don't show up like right at fireworks and expect to get sat. But if you go early, you're going to have a better chance.
I think this might be a question we got last week. How to use kids' quick service credits at adult-only places like Casey's when mobile ordering. You know what I think sometimes happens is people will submit this in the Q&A, and if they don't see their answer on Instagram, they submit it again, but they don't realize it's already been answered on YouTube.
Oh.
So I do try to answer those the second time on Instagram just so they get closure. But we've had this one a couple weeks in a row. But I mean, I'm not sure what our answer was last time.
I think I would like to be consistent. I'm thinking we said that Disney knows your party configuration ahead of time. I do think they prioritize adult before child credits. Your guaranteed way of doing this is to order in person, which I know can be more of a hassle. So if you could order in person, if you do mobile order and something gets messed up, you can go speak to somebody and have them fix it.
I remember now talking about how my theory was that because at table service restaurants, they make sure that the number of credits you're using matches the number of people in your room, that then when you go to do a quick service orders, that they know to pull it from the right pool. But if we could get definite confirmation of this, that would be great.
Yes, and also if you run into issues with that where you're trying to use your kids' credits and they're pulling from the wrong thing, because of the number, if you wanted to use 4 kids' credits for a meal where it's 2 adults, 2 kids, I would break it up into 2 orders and have 2 people order it and do it that way too.
Yes, that's a good tip. Girls trip. What is your favorite adult beverage at each monorail resort? I mean, full disclosure, I'm normally a wine and beer person, so I'm not usually ordering cocktails, but
Um, I I thought about this one, Shannon. This one was very important to me. Okay.
okay, go.
If you're going to Steakhouse 71, they have an espresso martini that's really, really good. I don't even know if it's on the menu, but they will make it for you and it's delicious. They also have one that's called something like Not a Pop, and it's pretty good too. And that's available, either if you're dining in or if you're just at the lounge there. If you're at the Poly, the Trader Sam's is my go-to. I like the AOA just because I like the chant that they do when they bring you the drink. It's also, I think it's really heavy rum, so like most of their drinks are, but it's like really rummy and that's delicious. At the Grand Floridian, uh, Enchanted Rose, any of their drinks are going to be good and they're, kind of craft cocktails, so they're a little bit more, I don't want to say upscale, but fine-tuned. They are elevated. They're delicious. But I also really like the new birdcage bar. What's it called? The Roost. Is it Roost? It's
Birdcage bar is more fun.
okay, the birdcage bar. Because I like the idea of sitting down there and being able to people watch with the piano player going. So they have a couple like custom cocktails on theirs too that were pretty good. I can't remember particularly what they were, but I think I like that better than Enchanted Rose because it doesn't feel as, I don't know, stuffy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty casual kind of person.
Mm-hmm. Kate May or Topolino's for breakfast? 1, 2, 3.
Topolino's.
They both have classic characters, but I just think Topolino's is hard to beat. It's popular for good reason.
And they bring the food to you. It's not a buffet. I'm always a fan of when I don't have to get up and go get my food and fight crowds at the buffets.
Mm-hmm. Summer House on the Lake or Homecoming? 7 adults, 3 kids. We love both.
Oh, I like both.
I would look at the menu.
Yeah.
They're very different menus. So, is that chicken and home cooking appealing to you at Homecoming? Because it is delicious, but it's very specific. Whereas Summer House on the Lake has great
Deviled eggs.
They have pizzas. They have they have a wider variety.
And deviled eggs.
Doesn't Homecoming have deviled eggs?
I don't know. I just know that Summer House has really, really good deviled eggs. And now I want deviled egg.
Okay. Well, I just learned how to make them in the air fryer. So if you would like to come over and have some. Okay. All right. We're skipping to lightning lanes. Okay. What was the app similar to Standby Skipper? That would be Weight Magic. So for people that don't know, Standby Skipper and Weight Magic are both apps or tools that you can use to help you with lightning lane booking. Weight Magic will help modify in addition to booking. So that can be really nice. But I just did a trip report yesterday, new podcast episode where she used both. And she personally found that Standby Skipper was able to get new ones much faster, but Weight Magic is what she used to modify. So we also use both. When are Premier Passes the cheapest?
When ticket prices are the cheapest, typically.
Yeah.
It's less busy times of the year.
There's a website called Thrill Data, and if you go there, they track prices of everything. So you can go there and see when they have been the cheapest. Lightning Lane rope drop help for late April from the Skyliner. Remy's, Frozen, and Test Check. This should have been under, well, whatever, Epcot. Remy's, Frozen, and Test Track are priorities. 2 adults, 4 and a 3-year-old.
I have very successfully, multiple times, been able to rope drop Remy's and make it to Frozen before early entry's over. I was not with a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old though. So I was able to walk a normal speed with my little short legs. But even if you can't make it to both of those during early entry, you would be at the very front of the pack, I think, especially if you can get to the front of the pack for Remy's and be at the you should be able to get both of those knocked out relatively easy and then head to test track.
Yeah, but since they're using lightning lanes,
Mhm.
you might want to just book test track as a lightning lane, just so you're not having to hurry over there before the line grows.
Yes, and also that's a long ways to go, especially if you're not using a stroller for those little legs.
I'm hoping they are using a stroller, but they will
too.
still have the added steps of having to park it and
Mhm.
reassemble and all that is involved with that. Okay. Rise was sold out. What are the odds of me being able to grab it on my park day? I mean, you can rope drop it,
Mhm.
even if you don't want to book. But I mean, you can always search. Like that's one of the perks of using something like Standby Skipper or Weight Magic is that it can book or, in the case of Weight Magic, even modify. But it has a single rider line as well. So you could use that.
Yeah.
Can I book Lightning Lane early if my ticket starts before our first park day? I don't think so, because at that point, the date before your resort stay essentially abides by the off-site rules, right?
Yeah, I'm confused by this question. Can you explain it to me like I'm 5, please?
So if your trip starts May 15th, but your tickets start May 14th, what is your Lightning Lane booking day? Like if your resort stay starts May 15th.
Okay.
So in the example that I'm giving, May 14th tickets would essentially be an off-site rules because you're not on site at that point. And so that would be 3 days before. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to use your resort check-in day as your Lightning Lane booking day. TLDR is that's what you're going to have to do. Okay. If I buy a 4-day ticket starting January 8th, can I book a Lightning Lanes for the whole trip on January 5th instead of January 7th?
Starting January
8th. Okay. Are you on site or off site?
Yeah.
That's what matters. I don't know what January 7th is in this case. Because if you're on site, you can book Lightning Lane 7 days before. If you're off site, it's 3 days before your tickets begin. So we need more information on this, but that's the rules. All right. We have one Disneyland question. Going to Disneyland next week, any 70th must-dos or must-eats that you would recommend? We don't have information on that. We do recommend magicaltourguide.com. Let's do Disney cruise questions to wrap it up. Deciding on ports, Icy Strait Point or Juneau. We have been to Juneau on an Alaskan cruise, and I did look up information about this, but basically Juneau is a bigger city. So if you like the cities and walkability of that, this is generally suggested for first timers, and we love Juneau. We personally love Juneau. Icy Strait, as I have read, it is more wilderness. And so it's good for like wildlife lovers, but they have different vibes. Both beautiful. Both have whale watching. Both have lots of great nature. Just small town versus bigger city, I think. Tips for Castaway Key and where to go with kids. And then I think same person, tips for Lookout Key with kids. Well, I mean, they have kids, they have family beaches on both. You should know that. And so you can go there. If you want to use childcare, you can do that. There are activities you can book if you're interested. What else?
I would say, especially for Castaway, don't be afraid to go back to the ship if you need a break out of the sun. It's not that far away, and it makes it kind of easy to go back and forth. It's a little bit of a hassle, but if you know that your little ones might need a break out of the sun, I would do that. Really, they are extremely, I think, easy ports and extensions of your cruise with that don't require a lot of planning. Take the stuff that you need with you. If you forget something, it's not too awful to have to go back and grab it. You're gonna have your food and your drinks are all right there. Like Shannon said, your childcare. It's an easy beach day.
For Lookout Key specifically, there is a bit of a walk across
Mhm.
that pier, and they have wagons that can
Mhm.
transport your kids. It's actually kind of a cute little parade of wagons when they bring them all back.
Mhm.
But I would definitely look for the wagons for Lookout Key Day to make it easier.
Mhm.
Because for us, it's about a 10 or 12-minute walk.
Yeah.
What's your favorite month for a Caribbean Disney cruise? I was trying to think about this because we've done different months. I don't like winter that much, even though I've done it many times because of the waters being choppy. Because I was thinking back to the only times I've gotten seasick was during like December cruises. And so for that reason, I would maybe skip that, especially if seasickness is an issue.
And I would probably, unless you're purchasing insurance, and I would recommend it, maybe try to avoid the super bad parts of hurricane season as well.
We've cruised many times during hurricane season, and it's really not a safety thing usually because they
Mhm.
can navigate around any kind of like hurricanes or whatever, but it can make it hard to dock at especially Castaway Key.
Yeah, and then you miss out on those ports, and it can also, depending on the weather, like where the weather is, if there are issues, it can make it difficult to get there in and of itself, like flights
Mhm.
being canceled or whatnot. So
So
you gotta
now
think
we've
about that.
narrowed it down. So basically, the last part of the year is out based on this. And I
Mhm.
would say January too, because that's a winter. So I would say spring, early summer might be the best
Mhm.
for just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I would even say all the way through August. I don't think I would hesitate. I think once you get like September, October, November, December, January, that's when you start dealing with the possibility of bigger storms and, like you said, choppy waters.
Does DCL do anything for Easter? So a lot of holidays, they do things but don't announce them. So
Mhm.
it's just like you're on board, so there's stuff going on. But historically, they've done things like photo backdrops,
Mhm.
crafts that are themed, and I think they do this for lots of different holidays, not just Easter. And then they will often have characters like Easter Bunny characters that come out, but you won't really know most of the time until you're on board. So I would check the schedule
Mhm.
once you're on so that you can see what they've got.
No way.
That's the last question.
Okay, I have a big yawn.
Okay.
We did it.
We did it. We did it. We did it. Hooray. But guess what? We also have comments.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. Christine always joins and says, hi.
Good morning.
So much fake news today. Yes, absolutely. Laura says, listening as I get ready to head to Disneyland and Disney California Adventure for the day. Yay!
Yay! Not jealous at all.
That is so fun. I love that. Be careful out there. It's been busy. Hopefully you have lightning lanes and stuff. Planning to rope drop, and dad needs a scooter part-time, so we plan to rent in the park. What is a good strategy so it doesn't slow down our rope drop plan? Can they be rented prior to the tap styles? Are they the same as strollers by chance with the rentals? Because if you do a multi-day stroller rental, then you prepay basically for your trip.
I honestly don't know, but I do think though you can, considering that for all the parks, you get in to the first stage and then you're held until like actual rope drop. You should be able to get it purchased before it actually opens for rope drop. It's just then getting the person who is renting the ECV to get back with the group, if that makes sense.
Is there a bad sitting at the seat and suite party? Do I need to be there early?
I don't think there's bad per se, but I would definitely get there early, um, because the further back you are, the more it's not as good. I like the in the first couple rows, and people get there early. Like we tell people to get there at least 30 minutes early. And when I went last February, March and I did the seat and suite, I got there 30 minutes early and I felt like I was at the end of the line. So, and like 30 minutes before Disney says to get there. So, if it's really important to you, I would get there even earlier. And then also keep in mind that the table, like how many each table can seat, is determined ahead of time and they aren't going to move things around. So right along the railings are tables of two, And then the next row back, I think, is where it's like a 4 top. So like groups of 3 or 4, and then bigger than that is further back. So it kind of also depends on how big your group is.
Okay. Sarah says, taking a newly turned 3-year-old for her first trip the week before Christmas and was only going to do one day at Magic Kingdom. I'm staying on site for 4 days and now thinking maybe we should do 2 days at Magic Kingdom. We do generally recommend 2 days at Magic Kingdom, especially with little ones, because there's a lot to do over there. Usually, like in your case, if you're picking 4 days, you would eliminate either Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom. I had a conversation with somebody recently who skipped Epcot. So you can eliminate whatever you want to eliminate, but usually people will choose between Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. Can you combine the 4-park Magic ticket with a bounce back offer? Generally speaking, you can't combine promos.
Mm-hmm. But tickets are different.
Yes, and that's why I'm trying to think through what the rules are here.
I think you probably can.
If it's a room only offer, then you might be able to do that.
Yes. I guess that's the caveat. I would bounce back just being your room only.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to then purchase the 4-park Magic ticket as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Jessica says for dining plan mobile ordering, there is a drop down on each item at checkout to pick. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Laura says for the Disneyland 70th question, make sure to watch Paint the Night Parade and World of Color. Yes, we love Paint the Night and World of Color.
Mm-hmm.
Love. Pricing out cruises after yesterday. Got to talk the wife into it. Yes, do recommend checking it into it.
And make sure you cover all the numbers too. Make sure you go through like all the money you spend on a regular Disney World trip versus a cruise, because there's lots of those little extras you end up paying for at Disney World versus just going to a Disney cruise. I'm just trying to help them out.
Help your case. When do hotel reservations open for April of 2027? Well, I guess the question is, and the same person said it seems to be booking until 12/26. Yeah, right now it is.
Yes.
But it takes a long time for November and December to be available. They only opened up, I swear, 6 months ago or something. Like it wasn't. So what happens is they open up the next year, but it's only through October. So like, let's say 2027 comes out this month in April. It'll be open through October of 2027, and then November and December will just be later, but it might be months later. So I would keep that in mind. Hey, lovelies from Toronto. Hello. Thanks for joining. All right. I think that is it today. But also a reminder that we would like to do trip planning with people on YouTube. So if you are interested in coming live with us on video and having us talk through your trip plans so that we can help you, but also other people can learn along with us, then please email info@wdwprepschool.com with information about your trip, and then we can see. We would like to start doing that now on the YouTube lives, because we think it would be fun.
It would be real fun.
Okay. All right. That's it for today. We will be back tomorrow.